So people have asked for an update on the rabbitry. Well, here's an update on the closure of my free-range rabbitry and the opening of my chicken range. I have two mated pairs of great horned owls living in my area that just decimated my babies as soon as they would come out of the ground. So I decided I just got tired of feeding the wildlife. So everybody's in cages. There are 2 to 3 females per 10-foot cage, and the male gets his own cage. And then babies have a little grow-out cage. I got to do some cleaning up in here and rearranging, but basically this is the rabbitry as it is of now. Like I said, I have to do some rearranging and cleaning up. And since I wasn't going to be I did all the fencing on everything and I wasn't going to be using it, I decided go back to get some chickens. So last night I went to a friend's house who couldn't keep her little Old English Game Bantams anymore and picked them up, brought them home and released them this morning in here, and they have been having a ball. This big white floof area on the ground here was a rabbit that died. And so I left it out here so it would produce some maggots and black soldier fly larvae for them. And they destroyed the maggots and the soldier fly larvae. I mean, when I came out here this morning to let them out, this thing was like wiggling. There were so many maggots. There aren't any left. Then I came out and threw out some raspberries. And I've got a bag of old bagels that got too hard, so I crumbled those up. They didn't really care much for the raspberries. They're still out here. But the bagel pieces are gone. So I've got another little container of bagels. And I tossed a bunch of black oil sunflower seeds around that I have for the rabbits. So I thought I'd share some with the chickens. And like I said, this area needs to be cleaned up. Those are their crates that they traveled home in last night. Other than that, it's just lots of garbage. The rabbits did destroy all these trees that were on the mound. They stripped the bark off of them during the winter, so they all died. So what I'm doing now is I have transplanted some trumpet vines along the bottom of some of the better, taller trees, hoping they'll grow and give me some feeding spaces for the hummingbirds that I've seen, and maybe a little bit more shade cover for the birds. I do have one very open area. Let me walk this way. This is the back side of my barn, and since it is wide open to the sky, what I have is you probably can't see it very well, but there's fishing line running from the top of the fence over there, the wood fence, up to the side of the barn. It's on an angle so I can walk under it, and I have seen feathers in it, so I know things have tried to swoop down in the past and get to the bunnies. So I'm going to reinforce all of this and possibly plant a tree or two over here. Right now it's just the dead trees and some garbage. We had some of the flooding from the storms last week, and that 4x4 timber you see on an angle, that was floating. So yeah, but the one nice thing is that chickens coop up at night, rabbits don't, so I shouldn't have any problems with predators at night. Here's their coop over here. Good morning, ladies. How are you? These are my new bunnies. I have small ones. These are mini Rex something mix. That one's, I think, a Netherland dwarf mix. I can't remember. But since my German Shepherd since my German Shepherd doesn't like rabbit, he eats it and then pukes it up, I decided I didn't need to grow the big ones, and went out and got myself just some little ones. So, like I said, there's their coop. It is 8 foot by 8 foot by about 6 feet at the very center. Need to put a hole in the entry door in the side. Gonna be doing that today, and fill it and all that good stuff. yes, we live next to the train. How lovely. Yeah, it's done. Okay, so we've got 7-foot fencing all the way around except for the wooden fence over there. So I've got my fingers crossed that they don't try and fly over the wooden fence. If they do, we'll deal with it. My neighbors are cool. They've grew up on a farm. So right now they're all basically huddling together. Oh, and I have an egg. Yay. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I let them out in groups, and they figured out how to get out of. I had separate pens and everything, and they figured out how to get out of them and all went together as a group. So I figure, all right, that's what they wanted to be. I have not seen any evidence of fighting or arguing. The big guy in the back, the rooster, he's really cool. When I came out before to give them, to spread out the sunflower seeds, I started calling them and they all just kind of looked at me like, we don't know you, lady. But when I started throwing the food, he was the first one to come running towards it, and he kind of stood there and watched me for a while, and as I stepped closer, he stepped farther back away from me towards the girls. So I think he's going to be a really good protector. So I'm going to spread out some of this stuff, and then, oh yeah, there he is. Spread out some of this stuff and just kind of let them have at it. I'm not going to push and try and make them my friends right away. I'm going to let them settle in. I was told watermelon is their absolute favorite thing, and I have a whole watermelon, so I'm going to wait a couple days, let them settle in, and then I'll start to come out here and sit and see if I can get them to come over and visit with me. So like I said, here comes the leftover, or it's not really leftover. What is it? Yeah, my brain is not good today. Mosquitoes are horrific out here right now. The bagel bits. All right. Chickies. See, when I had the rabbits loose, I would go, bunnies, and they'd all come running. So now it's chickies. Come on, chickies. Chickies. See, again, he's keeping an eye on me. He's being a very good dad. I don't know if he is actually the dad of any of these babies, but he is being a very good protector. And like I said, this place needs to be cleaned out. I got to put up some fishing line along here since it's kind of open to the sky. I also have some bird netting that I could put up if fishing line isn't enough. And then I'm going to put out some cover things for them. The tree gives them a nice area of shade, so that's good. But that's basically an update of my rabbitry, which is now my chickenry. Is that a word, chickenry? I don't know, but I'm going to let them have at the food. So that's all for now.